Hi there, everyone. Hazel here. Welcome to day 2 of our 5-day challenge on choosing a course topic that people want to buy. So, just a quick recap of what we did yesterday. So, yesterday, what we did was we were able to come up with 3 course ideas based on our skills, expertise, knowledge, experience, and passion, right? We were also able to figure out who our ICA is, who our ideal client avatar is, and spend a little more time, getting to know them more. Now, today, in day 2, what we're going to do is what I call the validation quickie. Now, the validation quickie is a 2-step process. Now, the first step is to validate if there is a hungry market for your course idea. And the second step is about validating the profitability of your course idea. So we're going to start with the first step, which is to validate if there is a demand for your course. So we're going to start off using different tools or different sites for us to conduct the market research. So the first thing we're going to do is Amazon. So in Amazon, what we're going to do is kind of like what you're seeing on my screen. I am in Amazon, and what I did was, look at that, I typed coaching on the search bar because remember from yesterday's example, I'm going to create a course on how to coach effectively. So in Amazon, the first thing we're going to do is search for books that are or that talk about your course idea. So in this case, I'm going to look for books about coaching. So let's look at the list. All right, so if you notice, we have a few great books, right? And what I'd like you guys to pay attention to, this, right? You guys see where the stars? So what we're going to look for is we're going to look for books that are very similar to our course topic, and we're going to look for customer reviews. Now, in this case, if you look at it, we have 3 different books that you can see on screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to look, or we're going to check the book that has most number of comments or feedback or reviews. Because if you look at it, the second book only has 34, the third one has 144. However, the first book, which is a bestseller in this case, has more than 1,000 reviews. So that means we're going to get more insightful feedback from this because it has a lot of reviews, right? So let's go ahead and check it out. So what we're going to do is we are going to check the reviews for a particular book in Amazon that, again, is connected to our course topic. And what I'd like you guys to do is pay attention to the negative reviews, okay? Pay attention to the negative reviews, not so much to the positive ones. I'd like you guys to take a look at the negative reviews so that we'll be able to check if there's any expectation that was not met, any information about the topic that, the people wants to have further explanation on, anything at all that that can help you shape the content of your course. So let's take a look at this book. It looks like this is a really good book because it has 83% of the reviews gave the owner or the author 5 stars, and we only have very few percentage on 2 stars and 1 star. So let's take a look at both. So what I did, I clicked on the percentage for the 2 stars, and let's find out what people are actually saying. Let's see if you can get insightful feedback here. All right, so look at this. It says here that it's very fluffy. Oh, that's a good, not a good feedback, but it's something that will provide you an insight that you don't want to, in any content that you put out there, it needs to have no fluff at all. And 3 to 5 decent, but probably obvious points, lots of filler and repetition. I was looking for actionable strategies and concrete debugging techniques for when things go awry, but I didn't find it. Okay, so that's an example of an expectation that was not met. Another bad feedback is, wasn't impressed with this book, too much repeating. I use similar books for book clubs to train managers how to coach. So similar feedback, right? Repetition. 2 pages of useful information spread out into, oh, okay. 2 pages of useful information spread out into a book. Okay. All right. So that's, again, another. So it looks like it's actually similar or relevant, related to the other feedback, which is fluff and not so much information, right? Okay. So those insights, those types of insights will give you ideas or feedback as to how you'd like to shape the content of your course. So it's very important that you focus on the negative ones. Next thing, the next site or tool that we can use to determine if there is a demand for your course idea is what they call, or what is called, Quora. So Quora is a platform online. It's a website where people can ask questions, and other people will actually throw in and answer the question. So in here, if you notice, search bar, type coaching, right? Because again, the course idea is about coaching, and you will see search results about coaching. And from here, we will be able to check, the most common question people ask about coaching. And that also gives us an idea what part, aspect, piece of coaching, or your course idea for that matter, do people frequently ask about. So I'm just scrolling, the results so you guys can see what the results are. All right, so if you notice, nothing much of good information here, so we can probably change words aside from, so instead of using coaching, we can probably use coach and we can get better results. But you get the point. You will see the most common questions, and you will be able to see which topic customers, or people usually talk about or frequently ask about your course topic. Okay. So the next thing that, or the next tool or site that we can use for market research is YouTube. So YouTube, what we can do is search for videos on the course topic that you're going to do a course on. And kind of like how we did it in Amazon, we're going to look at the comments, and what we're going to look for, right? We're going to look for those negative comments for us to see if there's an expectation that was not met, any information that people want to know more about, what they feel about the video, stuff like that. Okay, so let's look at this. So all right, so far so good, right? So far so good. Looks like people are loving the video. All right, so this is a negative feedback. You guys see where it was from Tracy? She says, I am left with more questions than answers, and I'm disappointed in the cartoon nature of the video. How are you going to elevate the profession and help people understand how profound the impact of a coach-client relationship can be using stick figures? Having been through an entire master's program in wellness management, I am left, and so on and so forth. You just have to read more, right? So that's an example of a negative feedback. Let's see if there's any more. So it looks like most of the viewers loved the videos. So kind of like how we did it, but you guys get the point, right? We're gonna look at the comments, look what they don't like about the video, what information they feel was not properly informed or explained properly. So those are the things that we're gonna look at when you look at the YouTube comments. Okay. Now the last tool that would help us determine the demand, or if there is a demand for your course idea, is the use of Facebook groups. Facebook groups, if you are in the correct Facebook group, if you're on the right Facebook group, it's going to provide you with a wealth of information about your ICA. So there are two different ways to approach this. One is to look for a Facebook group where your market hangs out, kind of like what I have here on, what I have here on the screen. So this is a Facebook group for coaches, right? It's very specific. It says there on the title of the Facebook group or the name of the Facebook group. So number one again is to choose a Facebook group where your audience hangs out. That's the first approach. The second approach is to join a Facebook group that's specific to your course idea. So using my example, which is I am going to create a course on how to coach effectively. So in this case, I joined a Facebook group where my audience hangs out, which is the coaches, right? So in here, what I can do is I can go ahead and search for the word coaching for me to see how often do my ICA or does my ICA talk about coaching? How often do they ask about coaching? So I would see if it's something that they are proactively looking solutions for. All right. So let's do this now. Let's do that now. So in the search field on the Facebook group, you just have to type, your course idea. So in my case, it's going to be coaching. Search for it, and the group will actually give you results of any comments, posts, shares that has the coaching word in it or the coach word in it. And all you have to do is read through it. All right, you guys see that? So, okay, let's see. I haven't seen any comment or post that where they actually talk about the benefits of coaching or the coaching skill or coaching as a skill per se, right? Mm-hmm. Or I'm not seeing anything. Okay, you guys see where it says by Tammy Myers Hudson. Just as I started my coaching training, I was blindsided by a traumatic event. I pushed through in my studies, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it does talk about, so that post tells us that these coaches are open to attending coaching training, right? And that coaching training could be, coaching skills training. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. But we want to make sure that we get more. We want to see how often they actually ask for it. There you go. You see where it says certification in life coaching? So and another training, right? Another training on coaching. However, it's not specific to what we are trying to create, which is for me is how to coach effectively, not necessarily to certify people as a coach, right? So all you have to do is, if you're doing this, all you have to do is read through the comments, the shares in the post, and see if there's anything at all that's going to help you pinpoint what exactly are they looking for, as far as that's relevant, of course, to your course idea. How often, how frequent they ask for it, are they proactively looking for solutions? Okay, now in this case it looks like my course idea is something that is really not in demand. What I can do is join another group of coaches and figure out and find out if it's a trend, or maybe it's just this group where they don't naturally ask, they're not that engaged. Maybe if I go to another group, there's I'll get more insightful information, right? So I would suggest do this for 2 to 3 groups so that you have enough or sample basis whether or not your course idea is in demand. Okay, now the second approach on how you will be able to use Facebook groups is that joining Facebook groups that are specific to your course idea. So remember, for this group is specific to my target market, not to my course idea. So if I'm gonna look for groups, I'm gonna look for groups that are about coaching, not really for coaches, but really about coaching, right? So if I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna join those groups, then what's gonna happen is that since it's specific to my course idea, I will have to, instead of using word word coaching, I will use challenges in that group because the group is already about coaching. So I just need to figure out what challenges, pain points, problems they're having as far as coaching is concerned. And it would also help me to see the profile of the people who ask for it, see if they're actually a coach or not. Because remember, it needs to be something that's relevant or that my ICA can relate to. All right? So that is how we're going to validate if there's a hungry market or if our course idea is in demand or not. So again, let's just sum up real quick. Amazon, look for the bad reviews. Quora, look for the most common questions asked about your course idea. YouTube comments, look for the bad comments, negative comments about the video. And finally, Facebook groups, either you join Facebook groups where your target market hangs out, or join Facebook groups that are specific to your course topic. Okay, so these 4 tools or sites we can definitely use to validate if there is a demand for our course idea. All right, so the next phase or step in our validation quickie is to validate the profitability of our course idea. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. So we're going to go back to Amazon. Now, remember, we used Amazon for reviews earlier, but this time around, what we're going to do is find the number of books that talk about your course idea. Okay, we're not going to look at the details of the book. We're just going to look at the number of books published about our course idea. So let's go ahead and do that now. So there you go. I actually typed coaching in the search bar. Let's find out how many results we found out. See that? So it looks like there are over 30,000 books published about coaching. So what does that tell us? That tells us that there is a market for course idea. There is a market for a course idea. And because if there's only like 1 book, 2, 3, 5 books, there is probably a reason why there's not much of a book published about that idea or that course topic. And maybe it's because there's no market for it, right? But if you see this and you see there's a lot of results, there definitely is a market for it. That's why you see a lot of competition, okay? Because competition is a good thing. Competition just validates your idea is something that has a market. All we have to do is find that market, okay? So this is the first step. Go to Amazon, look for the number of books published that is relevant to your course topic. The second one is through Google Trends. So the second tool that we can use is Google Trends. So Google Trends is a very fascinating tool because it does gives us really good ideas whether or not there is a demand for that particular course topic. So let's look at coaching. So for coaching, let me see. So it's still loading. All right, so it looks like it is still in demand. Look at that, still in demand. And look at this. This is what I like about Google Trends because it gives you the demographics of those people who are interested with coaching. So let's see. So the people who look or actively look for or search for coaching using Google is India. Next is Saint Helena, then Bangladesh, Australia, and Ireland. It also gives you relevant queries. Look at that. You guys see where it says related topics and relevant related queries. This actually, and this is actually good. You know why? Because this can also be, you guys can also use this as an idea for your lead magnets. Okay, it does give you ideas for your lead magnets. So this is what we can do for coaching. So it looks like it's still, people are still interested in coaching. You can actually also use other keywords and compare which keyword people use more when searching in Google or not. Okay. Next tool that we are going to use is Udemy. So Udemy is a third-party platform where people create and sell courses. Okay, so if you don't want to pay for, if you're an online course creator and you don't want to pay for, for the online platform to house your course, you guys can use it in Udemy. Although you will have very little control over your sales, over your marketing, because Udemy is going to do it for you. But if you don't have an audience, Udemy is a good place to start. So let us look at the courses. I've already searched for coaching, and what we're going to find here to check the profitability of our course idea is the number of students enrolled. Okay, so let's look at the results. So So most of these are actually certifications. Let's find out if there's any other course. So most of them is about life coaching. Oh, there you go. You guys see where it says coaching leaders for continuous improvement. It's just $39. 545 ratings. Okay, well, I think, okay. Now, another thing, by the way, before I forget, another thing that you would want to keep in mind when you're searching for courses in Udemy to validate if your course is profitable is make sure that it's a paid course, okay? Because remember, what we're looking for is the number of students enrolled for the course. And if you're gonna look at, maybe you find a course which has 10,000 students, but the reason why it's 10,000 students is because it's free, right? So it defeats the purpose of our objective, which is to validate the profitability of our course idea. So let's look at this one. It's just $39.99, but let's find out how many students are actually enrolled. So how do we find out? We just have to click it, and Udemy is going to direct us to the landing page of the course, and this is what we're looking for. You guys see that? It looks like there is more than 2,000 students enrolled in the course. The ideal ballpark figure that we're looking for as far as students enrolled is concerned is 5,000. If you see 5,000 students enrolled in the course, that means that it is a highly profitable idea, okay? So you might want to look for other courses. If this is what you get, you might want to look for other courses that talks about your course idea and find out if that particular course has more students than this, okay? So the last tool that we're going to use is Facebook Ads Manager. Now, the Facebook Ads Manager, there is a specific screen here, which is what you see now, where you can see the potential reach of your audience. And this is a good one because it gives us an idea how big of an audience there is for your particular market. You guys see this? You see that? You can see where it says potential reach. So it's 230 million people that can be reached using the filters that you did for your audience, right? So what I need to do is maybe I can change the age range, just making sure that it's applicable to my ICA. And remember, gender, also want to make sure if I'm going to target women alone or men and women. Language, we're going to figure out what language they use. Interest, which is really good. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, you guys see what I did? So I actually filtered the results and look what happened to the potential reach. So now it's 120 million people that we can reach. And based and according to Facebook, it's still pretty broad. It's still pretty broad. So we still have to filter and target our ICA more. Okay, so but this is basically how you would want to do it. See if there is a market for it, how big of a market there is for your course idea. Okay, so again, four things or four ways for us to determine the profitability or validate the profitability of our course. Number one, Amazon, number of books published that's relevant to your course idea. Second is Udemy, number of students enrolled to the course, the paid course that's relevant to your course idea. Next is Google Trends. See if people are actively searching for it in Google. And finally, the Ads Manager on Facebook, which gives you how or which shows you how big of an audience there is if you're going to target that particular ICA. Okay? So what are we going to do today? Your challenge and your mission is to do these things. I would like you guys to come up with 3 different pain points, problems, challenges, desires, top 3, just top 3 for each marketing tool, each tool, market research tool rather, that we use today. And from there, I'd like you to identify which of the pain point, problem, or challenge keeps on occurring. Okay, what's the most common problem um, among all the tools that you used for research? Which challenge, problem, or pain point do you see most common? And then once you see that, I'd like you guys to test the profitability of that course idea. And then from there, I'd like you to pinpoint which of your course idea is most profitable, because if that's whichever is the most profitable, that is what you're going to create a course on. All right. So I will send you, the workbook. Your resource for you guys to complete the mission is the workbook, which is also included in the email that I sent you today. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the group for any questions, concerns. I'll go live tomorrow, or tonight rather, tonight at 9 in the evening EST, for me to answer any questions that you might have regarding this. And if you do have questions, concerns, let me know. You can post your questions in the group. There is a specific thread for that, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.